It is settled then.
Thank you for arranging. Excuse me, miss. Oh,
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit.
If it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband...
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques?
You don't understand.
I didn't know how to face you. Because I know only...
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I...
Would you mind sharing it with me?
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business again. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea. So when Mr. Callis came to him, he tried to be as careful as he could.
They found out about his betrayal?
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two. I don't know that for sure, but you could... Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis, even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense.
But Mama, Papa always wanted to be a good man.
Well, things aren't always as they seem.
Yeah.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man, regardless of whether he left you a parasol, or...
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is...
You really think that's the first time anyone said that to me?
I'll leave my husband's case to you.
Thank you, Miss B. Are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. I'll get myself together on the way. So please don't worry.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance to...
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House?
Yeah, I've heard.
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, after my partner here put the dots together for me, can you do me a favor and try to recall...
Let me think. After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. My first reaction was that Mr. Callis's life was in danger, but when I got there, it was already too late.
So you also remember 2 gunshots then?
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never really bought that. Reason being, Mr. Callis had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before running to the scene. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned, do you think there was a...
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring... The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques, or a third person on the scene.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying, Mr... But hold on. If that's... He didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine. And did he lose all faith in the courts after
About that, Malouse told me I'll tell you everything once the whole truth has been revealed.
I understand. Then I'll leave Mr. Callis. And if I may just say one more thing. Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callis, even after so many years have passed. But it was Mr. Callis's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks, no matter what others might say.
Don't worry. You and all our other comrades at this...
My apologies, boss. It's just... many...
Hey, Thierry! It's me!
Oh, now, what brings you here?
Oh, so you've...
Oh, okay. Hey.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been called back to the city already?
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Callus did a fantastic job running the town. Building Spina di Rasula from the ground up, it would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job in the city. Anyway,
Yes. These two. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case and my father's may be related. We're trying to reinvestigate.
I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know people can be dissolved into water, right? I was also flabbergasted when I first heard of it. If you want to go through the original files from your father...
That'd be much appreciated.
Of course. Without them, I couldn't possibly... Why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to forcefully get more evidence.
Well, you see, just recently, we were... So, if you hypothetically wanted to do something against me, all you would need to do was get rid of the mecha serial numbers and send them after me.
Then you think too highly of... If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook, but not to... If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you completely. The same goes for me and my Gardamex. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. So I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private units. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both.
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all... I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find...
I need to get out more.
Hello. How may I help you?
I'm here to see Marcel. Could you...
Sure. I will let...
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young.
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. There's no need to stress. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened in...
Yes, I've...
Oh, you were at the Opera House.
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew it would turn into a whole murder mystery? I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf, I can already imagine everyone in Fontaine discussing your
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to be...
apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation.
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right?
Yes, I was reminded of your father.
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof, but I can sense that the other side has already begun to act.
Oh, and
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordial sea.
If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably wouldn't even be here talking to you right now.
Oh, you're giving us too much...
alas, it seems things are heating up again. The peace that But rest assured, Navia, if anyone dare...
Thank you, Uncle Mars. Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry. The confrérie was responsible for that banquet, so I was out and about the whole time making sure things were running smoothly. I didn't even have the time. Then I heard the sound of a gunshot.
Oh, it's okay.
Sounds good. All my wealth comes from Callus's... alas, why do the...
We've talked to all three suspects, purely based on their conversations with me.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be... Anyway, even though we didn't make a break...
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with the gun.
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he had no choice before he left home that day. If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father. Had he refused, he and his
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for murder.
So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the order and seek... Makes sense. But besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite... It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the primordial seawater was revealed.
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since... But who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Uncle Marcel? And with funds from the confrérie, he could also... It's still really hard for me to imagine, though. After... Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot... Florent? But... Spina...
So you're saying he's too...
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would be able to... Thierry, you say? Huh. But I didn't feel like he was lying.
Yeah. If the mecha were taken...
Who could it be? You know, if you think everything through...
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he narrowed it down to these three, did he?
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trust... The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us, and possesses significant... Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes, Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely we need far more solid proof before we can hope to go charging in on our enemy.
Navia, here you are. Oh,
Huh?
yeah. News came from Irenaeus just...
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called...
What? Is that...
Yeah, we know him.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial...
Wait, how? None of our...
That's what I thought was strange about it. So if the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned investigation.
Right. Because they'll think they've already...
Yeah. And it'll be a lot...
I understand. Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just as expected of my partner. Since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention, you're right. This is our best opportunity. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up...
We'll help you, just like you helped us in Linny's trial.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malus, Silver.
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured it's our hope that your confidence will be bolstered.
Thank you so much.
See you then! Now that Navia has set out for Irenaeus, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over.
I follow the wind.
According to Malus's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance. Finally found it! Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base. Ah, Navia's probably...
It would appear that I must repeat my question. Do you accept the charge that you are the
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey! Don't you understand?
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too?
No.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again.
That case had nothing to do with. Huh? What's What?
I told Miss Navia, this is but that was an
Oh, please. Did you ever think. We can put that discussion aside for now. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default, correct?
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia.
That person is. Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Huh? What confer?
I've heard of them, but...
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging... And if the charge...
Yes.
In that case, members of the guards. Mr. Marcel, you will not require an...
Apologies, sir. I think an attorney won't be necessary.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived...
I would like to take everyone back to only through elucidating what really happened in that case.
Navia, come on. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone...
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can explain my charge and reasoning.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the During the banquet, when the guests arrived at the guard's investigation did not... The suspect did not dispute. Callus was defeated by Champion. These are the known facts.
The one with the after that, the... However, we... Something's not right. Something's not right. The testimony, however, unfortunately... This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus, only for Callus to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead. A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used, but now it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the scene, and that they were turned into water after. Since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use the rain to wash away all traces of their dissolved accomplice. Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water.
that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something is dangerous?
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives. I get...
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the...
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact...
Then, may I ask some questions? 1.
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing around the same time, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around...
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reasonable investigative direction.
Why do I feel like
Maybe she's scared of an...
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you... Then why didn't Mr. Callus explain himself in court? If he...
I've thought about this too. And the answer, the dissolving power of water from the primordial sea, is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearances case. My father could have exposed it for all to see. At that time, Spina di Rosula was... What was certain, however, was that it would...
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the series.
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our lives. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right. But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect anyone? Had this opera house ever given my father any... But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter... I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge,
So, you mean to say...
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clarand. I don't need your apology. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand...
So, during the duel...
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate, and some even manic. And just one look and I can tell if a duel... I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not...
Right? What she said was fast.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the series?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of timing. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at this. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive...
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
I don't know what she can say to that.
I know that even with... Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder? But if I were to dismiss do you know what the biggest flaw in your...
I suppose you're gonna tell me...
It's timing. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus... But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize.
No.
Is there anything else you can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask could those records and testimonies do something to appease the—
Seems like she got the wrong guy. At this rate, not—
I think you've done but aren't you going— He wished for you once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong.
This isn't just about me, and it never has been. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth. While that same agency has long been taken from them, the people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people who suffered many people's image. And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher?
Huh.
Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never—
I was waiting for you.
Illusion shattered! Into the wind. Clouds high. The birds, I'll uproot you!
Whoa! The floor is going up! Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place. We need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up. The water level is rising! Now we can swim to the top! But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Fallen leaves. Adorn my— You can run, but you can't hide. Tidal wave. Can't see? Wind strider.
There is no escape.
Let's nip that in the bud.
Shine down!
Now the path is clear! Let's go!
There is no escape!
I'll uproot you! The wind knows me. Clouds high. The birds come. One with the forest. Let's nip that in the bud.
Illusion shattered!
One with nature.
There is no escape!
After all, though, as expected, the mastermind isn't here. That's right. What's all this? Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box. Oh, Paimon sees it too, but... Huh? You mean the girls from the... And then they were... And all the boxes of things. They What's this over here? Looks like some kind of experiment. No, the experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Sorry, Traveler. Paimon will try her best. It's... How can someone write something that terrible in such a matter-of-fact... You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that's why he... Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. You mean Vache is the one who did all of these... experiments? So that's it! No, that's not it either! If that's the case, why would he want people to resurface from the... In any case... Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here! And it's full of water! That means... This is where they make all this... If you dilute it with Paimon, will take... what's written here. Nothing. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to... This should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still have not determined the exact... The old dog's a real menace to deal with. He can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable. The only option left is to remove him from the picture entirely. I concur. Let's send some... Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups. Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the... Mixing in progress. Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep, it's... We've looked at almost everything here. Yeah, we haven't found anything that... No wonder even Nervalette wasn't able to find anything. That way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify the true... Sure thing. You take that side and Paimon... Nothing at all! And Paimon can't even find snacks either! Whoa, really? Let Paimon see! Vinier. Isn't that Vache's... Then... you've... Aw... It's just a normal diary chronicling the... So many! The final name Marcel! Wait, but... Marcel's pretty old.
And whose image do you see? Is it a man? Oh, so... I was...
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my...
Just how often?
It's all right, Monsieur Nervalette. Given their confidence...
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've all...
Huh?
We've investigated your lair. After your lover, Vinier, was dissolved, you kept abducting you. You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past as Vache.
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely go that far. And with that...
This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior timing defense. Well, Marcel, you fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people around you. So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we grew as individuals.
You also never understood Boss's...
Or our determination to see things through.
Your determination...
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself.
Do you think... Do you really... Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage were laughing at me. They said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Vignier's death was brushed away by all of you as if it didn't matter at all. Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! Well, you only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house and Vignier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she... But I'm not from this blasted place. So I can't be dissolved. No matter what I do.
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve. Do you all see? I can't go. I did all of that. And in the end, that occurred. I spent my entire life living on pins and needles.
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress.
Don't touch me. Don't. Vignier, please, Vignier.
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear.
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like...
Traveler, please submit all the evidence. The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover, Vignier. During an underwater expedition, Vignier accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vacher as a result. Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal to cover his tracks. He invented the new alias of Marcel and began to operate a business in Poisson. During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria, and began to... However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, after exchanging blows with Spina di Rosula for many years, although the assassination did not go as Vacher expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving the assassin he sent to the scene. And just recently, Vacher attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case, using a similar method. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case also exposed enough of Vacher's machinations that he was eventually successfully charged in court. Thus concludes the Oratrice will now deliver the final... According to the judgment of the Oratrice, guilty.
Guards! Take Vacher away.
Good. It's what he deserves.
With that, the serial disappearances case is over now.
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would be such a polite and well-spoken guy?
Yippee! He's hurt so many innocent people. Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were...
The day our late boss had always...
Yeah. See, Papa?
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served. Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got some business.
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
What now?
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding the initial charge before the trial can conclude.
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't...
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This is all...
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle.
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that Mr. Tartaglia has no direct connection to the serial disappearances case. The guilty party has been identified, and thus we now turn to the Oratrice According to the judgment, guilty.
What?
Hey! That's not funny! What's with this verdict?
Huh? This has never happened.
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger? Do you think the Oratrice might have just convicted him on general principle?
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it shouldn't affect the verdict.
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal is... Guards, please...
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Hey, Monsieur Nouvelette, what's going...
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to... all I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
I don't know what...
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either?
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not?
My dearest citizen, don't tell me. You thought even...
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious she had no...
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. And if you thought child had nothing to do with everything, all shall be... Now, having said that... Oh...
So she chose to make her escape?
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what...
She probably just put on that performance to save face. However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a...
All right. Even after all, he's done plenty of bad...